Well, happy July, all you San Run Travel travelers. It's finally gorgeous here in Northeast Ohio, and happy to have it. This is Steve here, and Reg,
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
and we're here with your monthly San Run Travel report. And one of the things you see behind me is a Carnival cruise ship because we're going to talk a little bit about what to pack today. We've done this before, but happened to find a very, very good list of things, pretty extensive. We have some things we thought we'd add or at least talk about, and some questionable items with it. But first off, we want to just tell you that there is very little change in the casino industry for day trips. Uh, we just came back from Presque Isle the other week. It
Yeah,
was last weekend.
last Sunday. Yeah,
Yeah,
last Sunday.
fabulous.
And
We had donuts on the way up for folks, and we came back and had a wine tasting and a dinner. And only a couple of winners though, but the casino did not provide us with anything. So that's the reason we're trying to entice you to go with us with little extras for these day trips that we might normally not do.
and our stop at Deersley Winery, I think, was a real nice touch. Everybody seemed to have a good time. I talked to the manager. She said there were a few people that did buy some bottles of wine out of the winery, and they everybody seemed to enjoy their
Yeah, we
meals.
did.
So it went off really well.
Yeah, we had a good time just for a little day trip. And the other thing, as far as this status, cruise lines are still requiring vaccinations, and I kind of see that for quite a while. Although I am hoping in the near, not too distant future that the pre-boarding testing goes away. We're starting to get rumbles from the CDC. The cruise industry is starting to press with CLIA, their organization, to try to press the CDC to release them from that requirement. And we do know that one cruise line has stopped. That's Viking, not one we would be using, but they have stopped the pre boarding testing. So we can only hope because yeah, that's right. We're off to another cruise on Friday, uh, where we have our casino cruise group going out, and it'd be awfully nice if they cancel it by then, but I don't think they will. So
All
we'll be
right.
taking our energies and our hopes and hoping nobody tests positive for COVID on Friday.
Yeah, well, things have been going pretty good. It has not, there hasn't been any real big spikes that I've heard of recently. Um, there were a few cities that the numbers were going back up in, but most places things were either stable or starting to decline.
Yeah, let's hope. So with that, we're going to go on to what to pack because, quite frankly, we are doing a lot more cruising with San Run Travel. We want to encourage cruisers. We're starting to get more first-time cruisers, and so this kind of information is pretty important for everyone, especially when you consider what many of the airlines have done with weight limitations and charging for luggage. So while there's some things that you really have to remember to take, we're going to talk a little bit about how to pack as well. In the first group, there are documents and everything that you're going to need if you are leaving the country. That group, and I'm going to read here because I'll try to put it in front of me. That group includes your passport or your driver's license. And if you are not traveling with your passport, a birth certificate. We still recommend a passport, though. It is the easiest way to get on and off a ship. However, if you're traveling to and from the U.S., there's still a maintain for birth certificate, except for Virgin voyages, which requires a passport regardless. But then there's the proof of vaccination, and you really need that, or you're going to be requested to not get on the ship, and your test. Now, most of the cruise lines require you to take a test before you go there and have the proof with you, either on your phone or printed. Others, like Virgin, will test you there if you prefer. So you've got to have that. You got to have your cruise documentation, the boarding pass. That's basically it. It's a
Well, they
good thing.
want your boarding pass. You want your luggage tags on your suitcases. You want to know if you know what your room is going to be. You want to know what that is, and you want to know what your status may be if you're like one of their reward club members or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. The other recommendation here was, and I've done this in the past, although I do so much more on my phone right now, but it's also a good idea to have any excursion confirmations that you've got. And something we noticed just recently, it's a really, really good idea to print out your health insurance or your travel protection plan if you've purchased it. We had an occasion where somebody was looking for information on it afterwards and had relied on the online version, and we couldn't get back to it. So it's probably a good idea to go ahead and print that out as well. Then the next group is a little kind of medical and protection type things. And quite frankly, it's one of the ones I have to remind myself of quite a bit.
Yeah, me too. Especially the sunscreen and the lip balm thing.
Yeah, and the aloe vera.
Yeah.
Yes, you can buy them anywhere on your cruise, but you will likely pay about twice what you would up at your local Walmart or other location here at home. So great idea to make sure you have sunscreen, lip balm, and aloe vera. Excuse me. Also, over the counter medications that you might need. I take some ibuprofen, and quite frankly, it's a lot less expensive to have it with me than have to go buy it. But one of the things that wasn't on this list that we just noticed, your prescription meds. Make sure you load them up and even take a couple of days extra just because something happens or your plane's delayed, or especially coming home, yeah, you can't get off the ground. Make sure you've got enough meds.
Now, I thought this next one was pretty interesting. Band-Aids for blisters.
Yeah. I haven't run into that, but it's not a bad idea.
Right. And I'm thinking, well, we don't travel much with a lot of kids, so we probably don't see a lot of blisters from kids running around barefoot or, things like that. But I guess that could happen. So.
And also the medications and over the counters that the kids might take. Yeah, as Red said, we don't do a lot of kids vacations, so we're not overly used to it. But if you're listening to this and you're going to take your grandkids with you, or you're a younger family who has kids, remember to pack them. That can get awfully ticklish. Now, the next little bit into the dress code attire. And most cruise lines are much more casual than they ever have been. But you do need to make sure that, we like to call it the old business casual attire, maybe slacks for men, non-t-shirt shirts, and dresses and dressy slacks for women are still very appropriate on a cruise line.
Well, the other thing they said is, because cruise lines are so relaxed now, people, they tend to pack, and they pack all these shorts and things that doesn't require long pants. But in the formal dining room, most of the formal dining room, even on just regular days, you have to have long pants on. So you need to pack at least one or two pair of long pants for your formal dining.
And that's really one of the things. And we like to emphasize, because of the airline restrictions, do your best to mix and match. Pick a couple of colors for what you're going to take on the cruise, and then mix and match your tops and your shorts so they go back and forth together. That way, at least you feel like you've worn something different on a couple of days versus wearing the same thing for a week.
Yeah.
But the next one for women especially, shoes.
And this can get you in a lot of trouble because on the airline, a lot of shoes in your suitcase will add a lot of weight to a lot of weight, and that can get your suitcase overweight real fast.
And that lightens your pocketbook real fast. So,
Yes,
ladies, I know you don't like to hear this, but if you can keep the number of shoes you take with you down, you're going to be a lot happier in your traveling.
absolutely.
The next thing was socks, and yeah, they're light, but take enough socks.
But if you don't want the blisters, you probably ought to have the socks. So
That's
then
true.
you don't need the band-aids for the blisters.
Now, the next couple of things were something I've never really paid a whole lot of attention to. But as it dawned on me, especially if you're listening and you've got kids with you, it probably is a handy item. All of the cruise lines have either a laundry service that would cost extra, unless you're platinum or above, or one of the higher services for number of cruises you've taken. But they do have a laundry on board. So if you had like laundry packets, wrinkle release, stain sticks, those kind of things, especially the stain sticks, whether you use the laundry or not. But if you have the laundry packets, just those new little packets that they have,
Mhm.
detergent packets, really could help you take care of clean clothes along the way without running into an unusual expense.
I
You can
know
always service.
Sharon keeps some stain sticks in her purse just for me because uh, my shirts are going to get something on it somewhere in the course of the day.
Pat does this. Pat's taught me the same thing. Uh, I generally put some kind of sauce or something on the front of my shirts every.
Yeah, I mean, how do you know you cruised if you didn't have anything on your shirt?
Isn't that the truth? Then we got power strips and power adapters. Personally, I've never really had the need for one. And again, if I go back to the um, airlines, especially the power strip, I would not recommend. If you wanted to take something extra, a little bit lighter would be a small extension cord, would be a little bit lighter. The power strip, again, we're just paying attention to what the airlines are doing. Now, the power adapter, especially if you're going international, is a good idea to at least have one of them to convert to AC.
And your USB outlets for charging your phones and things like that. Now, most places they'll have at least one plug-in where you can plug your phone in to
Yeah.
recharge it, but having an additional power source that you can plug into may be a benefit if you got more than one phone in your cabin.
Yeah, that's the truth. And like me, I usually have a tablet as well as a phone. I start charging back and forth. It's just faster to charge it directly. We then get into some other things. Towel clips. If you are a pool addict, they're a great idea because you can clip your towel to the chairs and it won't blow around or blow around.
Yeah.
Refillable water bottles. I know at least Virgin and I think a couple others are recommending you bring them now so that they can reduce the litter in the ocean.
And again, when you're bringing your water bottle, be sure that it's empty when you pack it and bring it with you because if it has something in it, they will not let you carry it in your carry-on and bring it on the plane.
That's
And if you got it in your luggage, it could spill out and ruin everything in your suitcase.
yeah, that's a great idea. Then we're talking about seasick meds. Again, although you can get your seasick medications mostly on the ships, if you get some beforehand, you're really safe, and you know that You're not going to need them, but uh, if you have some and you regularly take them, go ahead and take them. If you forget them, that's generally not going to be a big deal on a ship. The infirmary would have them for you.
And the ships are so stable these days. It's a rarity that you're gonna, yeah, I mean, some people will get seasick because they just get seasick easily on any kind of boat,
Yeah.
but others, it's not something that we've seen a lot of people get in the course of our travels.
No, really haven't. We've only had a very few get it, and only one or two, and oh boy, since 2008 that really got it. And quite frankly, most of that was because they drank too much the first night.
Right. And one other little trick is if you're up on the deck outside and you're starting to feel a little queasy, look out to the horizon where the sky and the sea meet, and where you get that straight line, and focus on that straight line, and that'll cause you to get that equilibrium to balance again.
Great idea there, Reg. Next thing was a credit card, and quite frankly, I can't imagine traveling out of the country or on a cruise without one. But
two.
Don't forget one. You'll need it. If not in port, you'll need it on the ship to connect your cabin to your credit card. And I personally recommend using credit cards in port as much as possible. A lot of times you're in a country where there's a conversion, you're buying something not in US dollars, and you get an accurate translation by using the credit card. You also have some protection in recovery of the funds if you decide it wasn't a legitimate charge. So yeah, I kind of recommend having a credit card, not a debit card, a credit card on board.
And sometimes you might need two, depending on who's doing the shopping.
Yeah, we know those routines, don't we, Reg? There was something here called, they talked about Ziploc baggies. And I thought about it, and you know what? I use them a lot just to pack little extra things in the luggage. I never thought about really looking at them as a specific kind of a thing to take on board. But if you think of their multiple uses and packing little bottles and everything in your luggage, it's really kind of a smart idea.
Yeah, they're great for any of your liquid items that you're carrying. If you put them in a Ziploc bag when you pack it in your suitcase, even if it spills, it stays within the bag, so it doesn't ruin your clothes in your suitcase. Also, when you're packing, things like socks, underwear, um, women's delicates, those things can fold up pretty good in those, and you can conserve a lot of space packing them all in one of those big Ziploc baggies.
Yeah, it really was one of the things I hadn't thought about too much, and I thought that's not a bad idea. We already talked about the additional phone charger. Then the one that I always forget, reading glasses and sunglasses. I've gotten in the habit of trying to stuff a pair of sunglasses, especially into my carry-on that I'm going to take through the airport, because so frequently we're leaving in the dark in the morning. I forget about sunglasses, and then I get on the ship, and guess what? I forgot them, and I definitely don't want to buy a pair of sunglasses once we get on the ship or get out into port. So it's a good idea. If you're like me and you use glasses to read, you definitely want to make sure you have a pair of reading glasses with you. They'll come in handy on numerous occasions.
And this last one, it's kind of a no-brainer if you're going on a cruise, but it would be easy to forget to grab a bathing suit. But there are a number of pools on the ship. When you get to a port, there's a lot of times you want to go to the beach and hang out at the beach for the day. Having a nice bathing suit or two might be of advantage to you, because you can wear one and have the other one hanging up, drying out for the next day, so that you're ready, so that you're always having a dry suit when you're getting ready to get started for your day.
And especially if you're a pool addict, which I'm not, but I know a lot. I know probably 80% of the people that go on cruises are pool addicts. So yeah. Well, that's our list. If anybody wants to give us an email or a comment on our Facebook page for your musts to pack on a cruise ship, go ahead and let us know. From there, we'd like to at least preview our little wine trip coming up. We've got a really, really good wine trip. I just finished what I think is going to be the itinerary for it. We've got 7 wineries, most of them in New York. It's August 14th and 15th. We're going to spend 2 nights at Seneca Allegheny Casino Resort. And it's just going to be one terrific trip. We haven't been up to Keuka Lake in a number of years. So the video I've got coming up for you is just a short little video about what the wineries are like up in Keuka Lake. It's one of the Finger Lakes. It's really a picturesque way to go. So I hope you can join us. As our wine trips, especially the 2-nighters, are really, really a lot of fun. Right, Reg?
Oh yeah, and if staying at the hotel is as comfortable as it was when we were in Niagara Falls, we're not going to carry anybody's bed back home with us.
Well, here's a little video then about.
In 1985, a number of us around the lake sat down together and formed the Keuka Lake Wine Trail. And here we are all these years later.
The goal of the wine trail at that time was to really let people know that world-class wines could be made in the Finger Lakes, and that particularly Keuka Lake could make extreme quality wines, and it was a gorgeous place to visit.
There just wasn't a tourist industry built around this, and we all had very limited resources for advertising.
We pretty much decided that, a lifting tide raises all boats and that we needed to work together.
There's a core group of early pioneers in the Keuka Wine Trail who really thought that by working together, we could achieve better success than individually.
By cooperating, we would do a couple things. One, we would increase the ability to market Keuka Lake. And 2, we would increase the quality of wine around the lake by sharing information.
Keuka Lake was sort of the epicenter of the Finger Lakes wine region. We had Gold Seal, Taylor, Great Western, Bully Hill, Dr. Frank.
Keuka has a mystique about it. There's so many beautiful views out there. And this hill is special to us.
And the nice thing about Keuka Wine Trail is we're all so different. You can come and have different experiences at each winery.
The topography of Keuka Lake is steeper than most of the other lakes, and we're also higher in elevation. So we have some spectacular vistas as you travel around Keuka Lake. And we also, because we're a little bit cooler and a little higher in elevation, we have a little more intensity of fruit, and that sets some of our wines apart.
Here at Heron Hill, especially on wine trail weekends, we like to entertain the customer, engage them, and educate.
I would say the Keuka Lake Wine Trail sets itself apart because it's quiet, it's family oriented. You can come and enjoy a glass of wine.
It's just a small and very quality driven experience.
It's quite bucolic. We aren't all packed together.
We feel that this is a more intimate experience for the customers.
I think Keuka Lake is the most beautiful of all the Finger Lakes. I'm very prejudiced here, but the views are so fantastic. And it's very doable. When we have our events, people can get around in one day.
But we really think that all of this comes together to provide exceptional quality in terms of what people will get here on the lake.
Being one of the smaller wine trails, people can have a more intimate experience, a lot of one-on-one time, and we do our best as wineries to, when people leave, they have a memorable experience.
I think the hospitality on Keuka Lake can't be beat.
They all have such a great time, and they always comment about how much they love Keuka Lake because it is very beautiful. The owners and founders are always around during wine trail events, usually cooking food or serving food. I'm usually serving food.
The greatest experience is seeing that light bulb go off in someone's head when they finally understand what we're trying to explain to them.
So most folks leave with a big smile on their face and tend to come back with their friends and family on future visits.
And it's just a quieter, very family-oriented experience.
And that's a little bit about Keuka Lake, and I certainly hope it entertained you, gave you a little bit of idea of the wine trail and what we'll be doing in Keuka Lake, and I hope you decide to join us.
And they are some fantastic wineries up around the lake. And I'm sure no matter what type of wine drinker you are, you'll find one that you like up there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So listen, we're going to give away a $25 gift certificate. Reg, of all the people, I'm going to give you a number. How about 68? 68.
Number 68 is Bruce Eldridge, one of our old time clients.
Yeah, we haven't seen you in quite a while, Bruce. Glad you've been keeping up the tabs with us. Well, if you'll let Reggie know that you heard your name, then we'll send you a $25 gift certificate that you can use on any San Juan travel coming up. Until August, guys, enjoy the summer.
Have fun, enjoy the summer, don't get any sunburns, and when your tan starts to get a little light over the winter, come join us for the winter cruise and go tighten that tan back up in February.
That's a great piece of advice, Reg. So long now, guys. Stay safe.
Take care.